Hello, and welcome in to Confessions with British Cymer Time. The following stories, secrets, information are things I swore I would never tell another living soul. And yet here we are. I'm about to share them with all of you, all 5 of you who will maybe watch this video. Why am I telling you? Well, you see, like all good people, I was tricked by a friend, by a troll, by a kind, generous soul who donated a large amount of money to charity in order for me to fess up. So here we are. Get comfy, strap in, and ready yourselves for the confessions of me. Our first story begins many years ago when I first moved to the Isle of Man. Most of you often ask me why I still live here, why I stay, why I make it so hard for myself to go anywhere, but the truth is, it's not my choice. The truth is, I can't leave this island. No, I am trapped here. Let me tell you about the day of the ferry bridge. I was out exploring, getting to know this strange land that I had arrived on, when I stumbled across a clearing, beautiful rippling water and a nice stone bridge. It was old, it was falling, it looked disrepaired, but there was something about it, something in the air that felt magical. So I stopped, I sat, I watched, I listened to the river, and then suddenly, as though out of nowhere, a man appeared. This man was old, older than I could place, but he seemed kind, and the Isle of Man was safe, so I wasn't worried by him. Instead, I started a conversation with the man. Unfortunately, the man appeared not to speak English. He was speaking Manx, and although I tried to explain to him I didn't understand him, he continued to speak. He had a nice lilt to his voice, and he was clearly trying to tell me a story of the place we were at. So I listened. I sat next to the river, next to the stream, and I let this man tell me his story. At one point he paused and looked at me straight in the eye and asked what seemed to be a question. Being polite as I am and not seeing any harm, I nodded, smiling, wanting to give the man an answer he wanted. He asked again, the same question. I didn't understand it. But when I nodded this time, something strange happened. The world flickered and blinked for a second, and for a moment, I swore I even... And when I looked back at the man, he was no longer old. He was, in fact, quite young. And all of a sudden he spoke to me in plain English, clear as day, and thanked me for accepting his proposal. What proposal, you say? That's what I wanted to know. And then is when I found out that I had agreed to be the ferry bridge keeper, a task assigned to one person of every generation, and they must protect the ferries, they must tell people of their existence, they must open the odd roundabout, supermarket, name some wines and cheeses every once in a while, but more importantly, it was mainly a ceremonial role. The only catch being that once you agreed to be the ferry bridge keeper, you could never actually leave the island until you found someone else to take your place. The man happily skipped off into the green, left me sitting at the edge, laughing. Sure, I'd been tricked, sure something was happening, but alas, I believe the man may have been telling the truth, because ever since that day, I haven't been able to leave. Although some of you are wondering how that could possibly be. But we'll get to that confession in a moment. Our next confession is one I never wanted to tell anyone because I know it may destroy a friendship of mine, and I really value this friendship, but I'm not sure how she'll think of me when she knows the truth. But I must confess to you all that I have an enemy. Not a person, but a creature, or multiple creatures. In fact, a flock of creatures. You see, near my house there is a pond, and on this pond there swims ducks, lots and lots of ducks, and I love ducks, and my friend loves ducks, and every time I saw them, I'd be like, oh, look at the little duckies swimming around. Look at all the little baby duckies being so cute. So one day I thought to myself I should take the ducks a treat. And so I did. I headed down to the pond with a baguette, a very long, girthy baguette. And I thought that they'd enjoy this baguette, so I got ready to give it to them. However, one of the ducks looked at me. I think he may have been the alpha duck. And for some reason, I think he took it as a threat, because he began to approach me aggressively. And before I knew it, I was fighting a duck. Baguette to Bill. I don't really know what came over me, but I continued to fight. It was a duck. What was I doing? It was a baguette. What had come over me? I don't know. Eventually, I bested the duck, and the duck lay on the ground, battered by my baguette. And the rest of the ducks turned on me. And the look they gave me, well, honestly, I'm ashamed. Ever since that day, whenever I go near that pond, the ducks cease to quack. They remember me. And no matter where I go now, the ducks greet me with only silence. Have you ever been surrounded by silence? All the ducks, all the birds, all of them silent, all of them staring. I know they'll get their revenge. My next story, I'll be honest, I am kind of scared to tell you. I don't think I should, and I don't know what will happen when I do. But I promised confessions, and it seems important that I will tell you everything that is happening. So, as many of you know, I struggle with accents. I change my voice so often when I'm trying to do one that nothing ever really comes out right. But this has always been the way. When I was younger, I thought I'd get lessons. I'd learn how to speak different ways, like I'm doing right now. But we couldn't afford it. Accent lessons are expensive. You can't just go up to any Tom, Dick, or Harry and learn how they speak. No, you must go to classes and you must learn all the different dialects and intellects. And we just didn't have time for that. So I decided, in my wisdom, that maybe there was a shortcut, a way to speak to multiple people with different accents and not have to pay for it. So, of course, like any normal 13-year-old, I got a Ouija board. I mean, there must be ghosts out there from every culture and nation in the world, right? They'd want to speak to me, and in turn, I could learn how they spoke, and then I could practice, and they're not going to charge me for it, right? Why do they need money? They're dead. And for a while, it was working. I would speak to the Irish and to the Scottish and to the Welsh. I would speak to the Scousers, to the Americans, to the Canadians, to the Australians. So many accents, and they would all encourage me, and they were so enthusiastic about teaching me. But after about 2 years, even they had to admit I was still appalling at accents. And despite hours of learning from these spirits, I had literally picked up nothing. So instead, they made a deal with me that if I wanted to do accents, they would possess me. When I wanted to summon an Irish accent, they would simply find an Irish ghost and they would possess me and I would become the Irish ghost. I would sound like them and it would be great. Obviously, signing up to be possessed by ghosts doesn't seem like the best idea, but it was very important to me that was funny. So I said, hell yes, let's do it. So I signed the blood pact and gave them part of my soul. Me and the devil had a little chin wag and everything seemed to be going okay until I first tried to do an accent. Because as it turns out, you can't just do an accent because you have a ghost possessing you. So it didn't really work out how I wanted it to. However, I do now have a large number of ghosts possessing me. And they do tend to control certain things I do. And they do like to play. But you know, maybe someday I'll figure out how to do an Irish accent. Our penultimate confession links to the story I told you earlier. Some of you may have been confused when I told you I haven't been able to leave this island for almost 6-7 years. But the truth is, I haven't left this island. I've not really left the room that I'm in except to visit the ferry bridge and to open the supermarkets. So how then have some of you met me? This may be my greatest confession, for none of you have met me. No, in fact, all of you have met my twin sister, Enazuz. Enazuz and me share everything. We have the same job, we live in the same place, we do everything together, but she's camera shy, and I'm people shy, and obviously I'm magically bound to the island, so she goes and meets you all and hangs out and talks, and I stay here. And, you know, it's awkward because I can't stream while she's off with you guys, but other than that, it's great, you know? It's nice. I mean, I would have liked to have met some of you, but between the fairies and the twin, I'm kind of trapped here, guys. She kind of took my keys. Haven't been able to leave for a while. I don't actually know where she is right now. Kind of getting a bit hungry. Anyway, if you see her, or me, or her, maybe just ask her to come back, check on me, you know, let me out. I don't know, feed me. Yeah, anyway. And now for our final tale. This one is the one I really didn't want to tell you. I'm going to be honest. All the rest, you know, yeah, sure, I'm possessed by some ghosts. Sure, I have a secret twin sister. Sure, ducks are going to kill me one day. And, you know, yeah, I'm trapped on an island. But all of that, you know, I think you'll all forgive me for. Like, I think you'll all understand why I wouldn't have told you that. I think you'll get it. Like, it'll be fine. But this one, I don't know how we'll come back from this one, but I feel like it's time. I feel like you need to know the truth. The truth about why I don't like sharks. Because the truth is, guys, a shark broke my heart one day. So when I was younger, about 6, 7, I was in Blackpool with the family. Sorry, I'm getting upset just thinking about it. And we went to a fun fair on the pier. And there was this cool game. All you had to do was get a ball through a hoop. And you could win a prize. And I wanted a prize. And there was a little goldfish in a bag. And I wanted a goldfish in a bag. So I tried, and I tried. I spent all of my pocket money. And then I had to beg my sister for some of her pocket money. And then I had to beg my brother sister for some of her pocket money. And in the end, my dad got so angry. He was like, you get one more turn. One more turn, and then we're done. I'm sick of you wasting money on this stupid game. It's fixed. You definitely can't win anything. And on that turn, let me tell you. Straight in. No question, no problems, straight in the hole. So I look at the guy and I was like, where's my goldfish? And he looked at me and was like, I'm sorry, you've been playing for so long, all the goldfish have gone. Like, everyone else managed to do it. All I've got is this guy. And he hands me this little bag and it's got a fish in it. But it's not gold. It's like a grey fish. And I'm like, I don't want a grey fish. Who wants a grey fish? But then I looked at the little face and I was like, oh, but he's a cute little grey fish. So I took him home. It didn't take long to figure out that it maybe wasn't a fish, you know? It had kind of sharp teeth, little fin on its back, swishy tail. Yeah, the guy had given me a baby shark. But I loved the baby shark. Little Bergie and me, we hung out together. Mum and Dad were so mad they wanted me to get rid of him, but I wouldn't get rid of Bergie. No, no, no. So I built Bergie a tank, and Bergie lived in my bedroom, and Bergie swam around, and he got big fast. I'm not going to lie, but, you know, it was fine. But me and Bergie were best of friends, and we'd play together, and we'd swim together, and sometimes he'd do little dances for me, and, like, his favourite dance of all was when I played the Jaws theme song, and then he'd do this, like, dramatic thing in the water like he was going to bite me, and I had to run away, and, you know, sometimes he nearly caught me. He was a very good actor, was Bergie. Like, sometimes he really looked like he wanted to eat me. But, you know, he was my best friend, and I told him everything, and he lived in his little tank, and we had the best life. And then I went on holiday. And when I came home, Bergie was gone. Now, Mum and Dad said Bergie escaped, but I don't know how he'd escaped from his tank, guys. Like, there was no way. There was a lid on it and everything. So I know they got rid of him, and Don't know if I could ever forgive them for it. But that's the truth, guys. So now when I hear the Jaws song, I just always think of Bergie in the water, me and him playing. So it just makes me so sad. So that's the real reason I don't like it, and that's the real reason I don't like Shocks, because Bergie left me. So I hope you all understand. Maybe one day I'll see Bergie again. Okay. For legal purposes, I would like to officially declare that all of the previous stories were not actually true. Shockingly. Or were they? Thanks for watching, Luke. I did it. Okay, bye.